Dear viewers, welcome to Ties. In this segment, we are having three wonderful brothers from the previous episode. We have Brother John from the United States, Brother Shawn, also from the United States, and Brother Yahya from Germany. And in the previous episode, we asked about them, like what made them really get into Islam and what really opened their eyes, different stories, different incidents. But now, after they accepted Islam, we will get into more details. Now, what happened with them, with their family members, with the community. Now they are working with the colleagues. So, starting from this time, Brother John. Now, you accepted Islam in 1996.
Yes.
Now, the first time you accepted Islam, it was in a Muslim country or in the United States?
In the United States.
Okay, so you accepted Islam.
In the U.S. And what I did is after the incident that happened to me and everything, I decided that I was going to move from that location and to move closer to Washington, D.C. So I bought a sailboat there and went and lived on the sailboat and started participating in the Islamic community there. And Dar Hijra Masjid in Fairfax, Virginia had a very big, vast library that was funded by the Saudi embassy there. So what I would do is sit with the imams, read hadith to study Arabic, and there was no YouTube. There was no internet, like real internet speed at that time.
True.
So everything that I had to learn about Islam, I had to sit for my own self and learn through transliteration.
Coming to the learning point, I'll ask you about it. But
Yeah.
let's say now, you accepted Islam, and we all know from the time you accept Islam, you have, let's say, wife, you have mother, you have father.
Just my mother, father, and sister, and they were...
Their reaction?
At first, my family were very liberal about it. I come from a very international but American family. My mother grew up overseas most of her life in Japan. My grandfather was in charge of Japan's naval base, and so my mother lived there for 17 years. But he was anti-Christian because he didn't. His mother died when he was very young, and he prayed to God, and his mother died, so he didn't like religion. He became atheist. So my mother wasn't allowed to. But my mother and father decided to allow me to have my own freedom of choice. What would work for me? That is a tenet of the American...
So they didn't object, they didn't
If it works for me, that's fine.
Okay.
You know, if it made me live a better life than the life that I was living, they were happy with that.
I'm really proud of your parents, because this is how it should be. If you see your son, of course in a good way, supporting your family members, supporting your sons and daughters, in a good way. So I'm really thankful to your parents that they give you your space, and they're, I'm sure, looking at you, and they know the difference between John before Islam and John after Islam. And of course they can see this very clearly.
The person I had the most difficulty was with my sister.
Okay.
Even to the point where I went to Hajj, I had an argument with her about that. I'm telling her I'm going to the place where Abraham is from, and she's a devout Catholic. Crazy Catholic about it. And I didn't want to really offend her, but it took her many years to, after me getting married and having Muslim children, for her to really understand what Islam was.
So who supported you now after Islam? Is it like an imam or the Muslim community?
The Muslim community around DC.
Okay, so they supported you, and then as you said, of course, at that time, I don't believe MP3s and videos and YouTube and internet is available, so I think you have to go literally with the books.
Yeah, and libraries.
I think this is one of the also
lots of hours
good way
sitting
to
in
learn.
the masalla.
MashaAllah.
Cassette players.
Yeah, I don't know if the Islamic protection was there at that time.
The only one that I ever did get, the cassettes, were Michel Rashid Al-Fassi from Kuwait.
Oh, so people used to hear him, mashallah, back then, in 1996, mashallah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Now,
I know, I had it as far back in 1988.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So let's, move to Shawn. Now again, the time you accepted Islam, 2010, and again the reaction of your family. Maybe you accepted Islam in Kuwait, I believe, or?
Yes, I accepted Islam in Kuwait, and prior to coming to Kuwait, as I said, I was in Iraq, and I had already talked to my family about it, especially my mother, and the advice that she gave me was, you have to do what's best for you and what you feel comfortable with.
This is before or after Islam?
This is right before Islam. Why? Because my family was very religious in the Christian faith. I grew up in the church. You know, I went to a Bible college, you know, so I studied the Bible. I know very well the Bible. And, you know, my grandparents and my parents and aunts and uncles, they all had positions in the church. My family, we have our own church in America. So when I mentioned that, you know, my mother, it took her, you know, maybe a day or two, and then she sent me a message and I called her back. She said, you know, you just have to do what's best for you and what makes you feel comfortable. If Christianity is not your way and Islam is your way, then you have to go that way. So, you know, with that said, I came to Kuwait, and the first day I landed at the airport. I happened to be in the Lulu Hyper, and there was a small masala there, a place to pray. And I went there and I took my shahada. And from there...
So which area you're talking about now? Where exactly you took shahada?
The Lulu Hyper, close to the Friday market in that area.
Okay.
On the 4th Ring Road.
Okay, the Sheik area, something
Yeah.
like that. And you accepted Islam at that time.
Yeah,
Now, of course, you accepted Islam. I know it's a very wonderful moment, people hugging and, you know, kissing and then maybe sharing numbers and everything. But of course, you have family back in the United States. So I'm imagining you're calling maybe your mother, you're calling your father and saying, hey mom, I accepted Islam, or I don't know what exactly happened. So tell us, like, what exactly happened?
I mean, what? Yeah, you know, when I called, it was like, you know, they were like surprised. I was like, well, I did it, I accepted Islam. She was like, what? I didn't know that you were serious. I was like, yeah, I'm really serious about this, you know? And, you know, she kind of hung up the phone. So I called my father, and you know, he wasn't a religious person, my father's side of the family. And he picked up the phone, and I said, well, you know, I accepted Islam. He said, you know, he said, well, what is that? I was like, it's the religion, you know, so that the Muslims follow.
He doesn't know about what Islam is.
Most people, they don't know what Islam is, but if you mention the word Muslim, they know what Muslims are. You know, it's strange. And I said, well, I'm a Muslim now. He said, oh, you're one of those guys. You know, he was pretty funny about it. He said, so you're going to come back here with a long beard and, you know, three or four wives? I was like, no, I'm really going to study the religion and follow it. Yeah. You know, he's like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. And that was it.
So they were like supporting you or like against you or like, okay, 50,
my mother initially, she wasn't supportive, but like I said, you know, after about a week of her processing it, she called me back and she was like, you know, crying. She's like, you know, I'm proud of you. You know, you took that step and it sounds like you're serious about it. You know, you went all the way over there. And then the next question she asked, she said, well, where is Kuwait? I say, oh, Kuwait, you know, is where your nephew was here.
I really appreciate the parents, you know, the parents, mother specifically, you know, she's more emotional, but I really respect and you know, love these kind of parents when they are really supportive to their children, because they are seeing, you know, there's a change. There's a change in my baby. There's a change in my children. There's a change.
Exactly.
So, mashallah. And okay, quickly, who supported you in Kuwait in learning about Islam?
Wow, I have a Diwaniyah that I joined, or that I was pulled into. The guys in the Diwaniyah, they're very famous in Kuwait. My teacher, his name is Ali Al-Amr, and he studies with Sheik Dawood Al-Asusi and Sheik Uthman Al-Khamis. And of course, Uthman al-Khamis studied under Sheikh Uthaymeen.
So,
peace and blessings.
You got a group that's supporting you.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Quickly before we come to the end, now coming to Brother Yahya, again, we'll come to you, and we know that you're from Germany, and in German, you know, most of the people, they don't believe in God, they believe in technology, they believe in science because they are top in technology.
They're seeds people.
Exactly. So now you are within these people accepting Islam, accepting Allah or God. So what's the reaction of your family, mother, father, relatives, colleagues or class fellows at the university?
Yes, my mom was actually kind of sad. She was crying as well at the beginning. But throughout the time she was very tolerant and supportive for me in any case. So subhanallah, for the rest, yani my friends, some of them they tolerated it, some of them not, and I actually kind of changed my whole community, you know. I had some good friends and some close friends. At the end, I thought, okay, the only thing that we are gathering together is because we want to do something that's not allowed on what I am right now. And yeah, so I decided, okay, I keep in contact with them, but only from the normal occasions like football playing or tennis or something like this. But going out and having like I don't know what nice night. It was
so as usual. The mother was sad or maybe crying at the beginning, but she accepted it, and I'm sure she's seeing different Yahya what he was before, right? And also who supported you, you know, after you became a Muslim.
Yes, of course my mother recognized a difference, and I think Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, throughout his religion, he gave me much strength to reach many things in my life. And as well, of course, the community that I was in Mainz, they helped me a lot, and yeah.
So community could be a mosque, but from the other side also you are being in touch, and this is one of the really good things for any Muslim, to be in touch even with your friends. Yes, we know that sometimes they are not agreeing with us, maybe they are sometimes against us, but I think it's, as a Muslim, you have to be in touch with them, you know, just to keep that relation, you know, and maybe perhaps Allah will give them hidayah, who never knows. So inshallah ta'ala, this was really interesting, mashallah, questions and the answers from you, but we will continue in the next episode. So dear viewers, the time is up for this segment, but inshallah ta'ala we will continue with these wonderful brothers in the next episode. For now, we will shift to another segment. Stay with us, inshallah.